Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the J22 Report. I'm your host, Johnnie Market. You all know that drill. Smash that like button, subscribe, give me a follow if you're on Rumble. And so I will get into today's stuff. I returned back from Eastern Europe. Ooh, Eastern Europe is a great place, I have to admit. And I lived, with residents and everything. I didn't go like a tourist. So I actually have a concept of what it's like there, much better than the United States. I'm not giving, advice or anything or do what you want, but in my opinion, if I was a young guy, didn't have much student loan debt, I would leave. You could go there, teach English, learn the thing they love, Americans generally speaking. The women are much better. I mean, there's just much better future there than wow. So the food's better. You're not poisoned. I remember I was asking my wife. I was like, she's like, yeah. Did you need Tums yet? And I was like, nah, I haven't had. It's like, yeah, they're not poisoning you like they do in America. So you're not gonna need it. So hopefully they maintain their hardline immigration stance. Because it's working out very well. Anyway, let's get into the markets more. But yeah, I was blown away. Just disclaimer, nothing I say should be construed as financial investment advice. Just uh, what I know. It's just basically my thoughts, my opinions on the markets. But anyway, this will be, I'm going to go back to what one of my listeners said. It is true. The Fed does listen to this channel. A lot of elites do, believe it or not. But the reason I'm not big or anything is they probably make sure the algorithm is suppressed. Uh, they know what I know. And here's the proof. Wall Street is concerned about inflation resurgence. And remember, this is the only channel that talked about specifically an inflation resurgence. You go back to my videos last year, late last year, and see the whole Trump tariff thing is a distraction. Tariffs don't really cause inflation. Yeah, I know it's a sales tax, but then what happens is a lot of them move onshore. They start mass producing and becomes cheaper. That's generally what happens. Now, Trump, it's going to be a disaster, his administration, but not because of tariffs. A lot of it is they're going to this is going to get nasty. I'll just say this. The Doge thing, they're going to try to fire Fed employees, then import mass amounts of H-1B ones, which, my wife deals with immigration paralegal. They're not skilled attorneys. Uh, our college graduates are much more skilled. Uh, and so they're going to have a lot of low wage jobs, which should be higher wage jobs flooding the market. And not only that, the reason the government's in massive debts is because it writes a lot of checks. Best example is Social Security. We need to cut it. And we need to start means testing it. The reason Social Security is expensive is because it writes a lot of checks, not because it employs too many people. It's not a popular opinion. Libertarians love to like crack on government workers, which I'm not here to defend them, but I'm also not here to insult them either. Uh, but the reason why the government is in massive amounts of debts is because it writes a lot of checks, not employs too many people. And so anyway, well, let's get into inflation, which is as Milton Friedman said, is a monetary problem. One of the top concerns looks like, and of course, they know they're trying to get on top of it. We expect a gradual deacceleration, but levels uncomfortably too high. Like, yeah, whatever. Stubbornly above the 2% target. And they say primarily driven by the services of the economy, like healthcare, insurance, even airfares. The thing is, insurance, there's a lot of things that go on with it. Like the thing about Haitian story is a lot of them get into a lot of accidents. And so the residents of Springfield, Ohio, their car insurance was astronomically high, but there was a lot of damages, healthcare, the emergency rooms, and then airfares. Just they're flying people over left and right. So a lot of these have to deal with the migration, and so but shelter inflation, they get government subsidies. H-1B, I audited H-2B, and a lot of them they take all these people and just throw them in small apartment rooms, small hotel rooms, and it takes a lot of apartments and hotels off the market, so the prices go up drastically. So, uh, but anyway, H-2B is like a low-skilled visa worker. According to economics, they talk about core inflation hitting 2.5%, 2.2, and they say they don't see it cooling until 2027. Well, it will be low by 2027, but that's because there'll be a market crash, not because of any type of like just increase of production and whatnot. So, but you can tell it's confirmed. They do watch my channel, and yeah, see, they're trying to blame it on the tariffs, but a lot of it is through mass migration. Uh, and you can tell because Biden, a lot of these new tariffs weren't on, and inflation was really bad. One of the ways they reduced it is they took all this oil and just dumped it onto the market from the SPRs. But you can tell, and look, this shows how dumb they are. The main reason inflation happens is because of asset prices. We need to crash the stock market to get rid of inflation. But they say they want more wages. And they always blame it on wages. But the reality is you get high wages because you're productive and you get a lot done. High wages are actually not inflationary, believe it or not. So, and so a lot of it is asset prices. So they're trying to blame it on, and this is why the inflation problem will not get solved. But that's the thing. It is confirmed. They're trying to put a spin on it. And the economy is really bad, and you can tell by some of the things. And I'll just use an example of how they think. Right now, the banks are really tightening up on lending. Personally, I had refinanced my car loan, and I had to jump through hoops for 3 days to get them. But to show what's happening is federal watchdogs ban medical debt from credit reports. Well, what's one way to increase everyone's credit score so they keep borrowing and spending, where it's credit cards, auto loans, everything? Well, we'll just ban medical debt. That will increase everyone's credit score. Now, this will be a lot sooner rather than later, a lot worse in the future, but I'll show you why. Because the healthcare sector is already in trouble. And not only that, can you imagine the healthcare cost that will go up? Because a lot of people, now that they'll say, now that I don't have to pay it because it doesn't affect my credit score, what they're going to do is they get $100,000 bill. They're like, screw it, I'm not paying it. So they're going to be like, I'm not paying it, screw it. And so they'll go to the emergency room, they'll get care, and then they just won't pay it. And so this is going to be a complete disaster. And this is just going to be a complete disaster right now. I think the medical system needs to be addressed and really needs to be not redone, but not reformed, but it needs to be there needs to be a new medical system. It's just really bad. I've experienced overseas systems and I've experienced quote unquote socialized medicine. And I'll say Eastern Europe, their doctors are better, their quality of care is much better than America. They used to lie and say foreigners came to America to get surgeries. It's not true. They go to East Asia and they go to other countries. But I've experienced it because my wife is Eastern European and they have they have much better doctors than America, actually. And the answer is not importing more doctors. But so anyway, that is the first thing. You can tell this is one of their plans. They're not going to say it's one of their plans, but they think this is going to increase economic growth. But let's go on to the bubbles and the problems. And see, this is why. Look, bankruptcy filings per sector. Now imagine if they banned the medical credit thing. How many more healthcare sectors are going to go out of business because people now are going to say, well, this is too much. I'm not going to pay for it. And then they'll just go somewhere else. So healthcare right there, you can see it's really a lot of bankruptcies. Consumer discretionary, people can't rent. If you look at rent, student loans, auto loans, all that, they don't really have much to go eat. And so, yeah, and of course, the stuff that you have to use, like this is Teams and whatnot, information technology, consumer staples, like, yeah, stuff you need. But discretionary, yeah, people don't do anything anymore. So that is the first thing, discretionary. It's on the rise. I'm no longer on Twitter. After Musk's sort of tirade, I don't, and how he just completely demonetized anyone who disagreed with him. If you look at my earlier videos, I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but I did this about a year ago. That censorship is coming to the financial. When the economic things go really bad, they're going to start banning accounts because they're going to blame us. Remember, Musk said he only wants positivity, only wants positivity. So I won't stand a chance when this thing goes bad. So I'm not going to be on that anymore. If you followed me, thank you, but I'm no longer on it. So anyway, I have a burner account, but I mean, so here it is again, consumer loan default, the highest rate since 2012. So this is a really big one right here, consumer loan defaults. You look at it right here, it's really getting at elevated levels. This was recession from '08. So it's not really that big, but you can tell it's really going up, and I think it's going to go up even more. Um, and auto loans, that's another one. If you look at it, auto loans, those are really, look at that. You can see the bubble sort of coming. It was sort of deflating, but it's coming up again. And the banks have a lot of auto loans on the list. This is a big thing. This is a big thing. And the banks that look at is Lending Tree, major player, Bank of America, Ally, and then there's Toyota Financial Services. So anyway, that's all I have for today. And regarding gold, just my observance from being a bullion dealer and whatnot. Gold is up today. I think January is going to be a very good month for gold because a lot of people are making new positions. Really know where it's going to go, let's see how February and March is going to do. That's when we'll really get the key. But that's all I have for today. Welcome back, and just reiterate, nothing on this show should be financial investment advice, just my thoughts and opinions on the market.